Now at 6, San Francisco jury walloped Tesla with a $137 million verdict in a racial discrimination lawsuit. This lawsuit claims African-American employees were subjected to racial slurs and other threatening behavior. KPIX 5's Devin Fehely spoke to the whistleblower about what he experienced at the Fremont plant.
The former worker and whistleblower says that he was confronted with taunts and threats, the N-word and racist graffiti on the factory floor each day. He says that this lawsuit and the verdict is about holding Tesla accountable.
I was told I was going to be killed in the factory. I'm going to shoot you. I was told, you know what, go back to Africa.
Owen Diaz says racial slurs and threats of violence were near everyday occurrences at the Tesla factory. And he says the jury's $137 million verdict is vindication.
I'm happy that we're finally able to get a light in on Tesla and their practices. You know, I want this to be less about me and more about what's going on inside of Tesla.
Owen was a contract employee at Tesla in 2015 and 16. He says he repeatedly reported racist and threatening behavior by coworkers at the factory, but claims that management often turned a blind eye to the behavior. Tesla disputes those claims, arguing that they fired 2 employees and suspended a 3rd. Vice President Valerie Capers Workman wrote in an open letter to employees in response to the verdict, "While we strongly believe that the facts don't justify the verdict reached by the jury in San Francisco, we do recognize that in 2015 and 2016 we were not perfect. We're still not perfect, but we have come a long way from 5 years ago. We continue to grow and improve in how we address employee concerns." Civil rights attorney Larry Organ says the jury's verdict is about accountability.
The message is that racism in the workplace in the form of the N-word and swastikas and pickaninny drawings is unacceptable.
Owen says he hopes the verdict will force Tesla to reform its workplace culture so that others are spared the abuse he suffered.
You knew that racism was going on in your factory. You could have stopped. You could have retrained everybody, but that's not what he chose to do.
Tesla has not officially announced whether or not it will appeal this decision, although that seems likely. If it does, it will be up to a judge to decide whether or not to uphold the jury's original verdict or perhaps reduce the amount of monetary damages. In Fremont, Devin Fehely, KPIX 5.